Hi, welcome to Moving Mountains with Jesus. And this is Frank. I'm with Sarah, and the Lord just put in my heart to do a video about faith. And I'm going to read from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 and 2. Now, faith is the assurance, the confirmation, the title deed of the things we hope for, being the proof of things we do not see and the conviction of their reality. Faith perceiving as real fact what is not revealed to the senses. For by faith, trust and holy favor born of faith, the men of old have divine testimony born to them and obtained a good report. So I feel like Sarah has a good testimony about faith, and we do too, but I just want to get perspective of faith. So Sarah, what do you think faith is like when Hebrews says like faith is something that you don't see, your sense cannot contain it, cannot understand it. What do you sense that is?
When I think about that, I don't know. For me, faith comes by knowing who my faith is in.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, for me, more about who and trusting who.
Yes.
Because especially in this day and age, you can say, oh, I have faith, I have faith, I have faith, I have hope. But it's really like, what is your hope and faith anchored in? And for us Christians, it's who is our faith in? And so for me, it's always pointing back to Jesus and who Jesus is. So when you know who Jesus is and you know who you are in Jesus, it's easy to have faith.
Amen.
Because he's really good.
So one of my testimony about faith in Jesus is that trusting in him in my finances, like the Lord told me 2010 to quit my job and just follow him, not knowing what it looks like. So through that faith of action, the Lord took me on a journey, a spiritual journey, growing in the supernatural.
Wait, what were you doing in 2010?
I was teaching nonprofit tutoring and after school program before that.
Okay.
So I quit my job. So that was a faith action that I didn't know what was going to happen afterward, but I took a faith hearing from God to be obedient to him. So what's a good testimony of your life that has the same reflective of faith action?
Yeah. So I guess I have a similar one. Maybe I'll talk about this one, but so last year, April, I also felt like the Lord said, your time is up at your full-time job. And I was an executive personal assistant. I was making like really good money, like working for these like billionaires as their assistant. And I felt like the Lord saying, your time is up. I had been there almost 2 years. And it's time to like build your dreams. So that was definitely a step of faith, leaving that job. But with faith, I don't know, I didn't do it just like haphazardly. I did it, I fasted actually for the first time ever.
That's good.
I fasted and I said, God, I'll do a liquid fast for a week. And in that time, I am expecting to basically hear your audible voice to say yes or no about what I felt like God was asking me to step into. And he answered me in a very miraculous way, actually through a guest preacher that happened to come to our church.
Okay.
And she basically said the name of my business.
Wow.
Out of Ezekiel 37. And there's a verse that says, O sovereign Lord, you alone know. And the name of my business actually is Only He Knows, OHK.
Very
We call
cool.
it OK. But so God is so good that although it was a huge step of faith, he's a kind dad and he's a really good dad, that he confirmed to me, well, in my step of obedience to fast,
yes.
and really like tuning out the world and any voice, but to only hear him. And when you do that, he really does speak clearly and very descriptively, and in that case he really did. So that was definitely a step of faith.
So one of the things when we walk in faith is there's always going to be persecution, or there's going to be things that hinder us from walking to it. So what was good thing that you had to break through to walk in this faith? For me, one of the biggest things was my parents, because they had to say, they keep telling me to get a job or do this, do that. So a big thing is just focusing on the plan of God to do His will. So what's one of the things that you feel like it was an obstacle that you have overcome that you lead you to this place?
Yeah. Well, spiritual warfare is real.
Yes.
Very real.
Yes.
And in that circumstance of when I heard from God and I said, okay, God, if you confirm this, I'm going to let my boss know the next month. And that's exactly what I did. Literally 2 days after I told her, and there was so much breakthrough because she was like, you need to go do God's will. And she released me with so much compassion and empowerment. Like, it wasn't a bad thing at all to tell her I'm leaving. Literally 2 days after that, my dad got diagnosed with lung cancer.
Wow.
And
okay.
I knew it was a spiritual attack. Like, I knew without a doubt in my mind it was spiritual.
Wow.
And we really did fight it in the spiritual. Like, we fought it with prayer, and lo and behold, like, they reversed the diagnosis.
That's
praise
so good.
God.
I know, praise
and
God.
he didn't
Yes.
end up having lung cancer. They said it was just an infection.
Amen.
So that was definitely, but those 4 days of me thinking my dad had lung cancer, man, I really was like, are you serious?
So
like,
good. Yeah.
Can you, like, because it was right after the breakthrough, and I
Exactly,
couldn't believe it. But God is good, and
Amen.
my dad is great. But
Okay.
that was definitely an obstacle.
Definitely. Yeah, that's definitely the enemy trying to hinder you from
Yeah.
security, like full security of the world, like,
Yeah.
depending on the things of the world to, instead of trusting God, healing your father, sometimes we want to, okay, we got to have finances so we can like
Right.
take care of the hospital stuff, but no, it's the
Or
supernatural
just feel
thing.
defeated after you just had just such a big breakthrough and be like, never
Yeah,
mind.
no,
Like,
it's true.
who am I to leave this like secure job when my dad, like, who knows what's gonna happen with him? So I could have really like receded and just been like, never mind. But
Yeah. No, it's
you
true.
know, you have to fight
Great.
the good fight with
Yes.
faith.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
faith, like, again, the unseen, but you just trust that the Lord is going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And then the final question is the unseen. What was the something that faith, what you're hoping for that's unseen, but you're going to walk in faith to attain it? So for me, it's like, I know I'm called to prepare the coming of Christ. So what that looks like is to go to the nations and just declare the goodness of freedom.
Yeah.
So that's the calling. But yeah, I don't know how to achieve it, but I know that's what the Lord has put in my
Wow.
heart to walk in. So my faith is to walk it out every day, even though I don't even know what it looks like
Right,
sometimes.
right.
So what is the something that
Wow.
you're definitely having a hope of, something that's unseen, but the Lord is calling you to walk in faith to walk into?
Yeah. Well, I guess since we're on this track of me talking about why I left my job, I'm really walking in faith in this season to develop the business plan for, my entrepreneurial dreams in faith that God's got all the pieces lined up, and I'm moving forward with it, in faith, because I don't know who my investors are going to be, or who my staff, or how any of this is going to work out.
That's
Like
true. Yeah.
where it's going to be. Like doing anything in New York is very expensive. So
Yes.
it's like I know I'm just doing what I've been called to do in faith that God's going to do the rest. Really.
Amen.
So I'm moving forward with, creating the business plan. But really, like, what's going to happen after that is all, it's all submitted to Jesus. So
Yeah. That's good.
I'm just walking it out in faith,
So we just just pray, close the prayer, and release whatever faith the Lord speaks to you, to releasing in prayer. And
Yeah. I guess one thing before we start off or close off in prayer is, for me, I've learned like to keep it simple.
Yes.
And to keep it childlike.
yes,
And when you look at children and you tell them anything, they agree and go with it.
Amen. That's
and
true.
I think we're all called to be that as children of God, to just simply walk it out in faith, trusting in who God says He is, and the plan and purposes He has for us, which are exceedingly and abundantly. So just believe that and just keep moving forward. So yeah, Father, I just release the simplicity of faith and the childlikeness of just how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be children, and we're just supposed to keep it simple. So I just release that simplicity and the childlikeness that it takes to step in faith and to do all the things that you've called each and every person listening to this video right now and watching this video right now. I just release the simple faith, the simple gospel, to not overcomplicate things, because we're not called to like figure anything out.
Amen. No, it's true.
And
Yes.
to just live in simple faith, God. I just release the faith that you've given me, and I just release the revelation of who you are, Jesus. God, you're so good. You're good to your children, God, and we believe in that nature, that you are so good to each and every one of us, God. So I release the goodness of God, the revelation of knowing that you are good and you've got big plans for each and every person listening to this video, Father. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. God bless.
Wait, you pray.
No?
No? Okay.